Hi everybody, my name is Tara, and today I'm going to tell you about one of the coolest, creepiest, most exciting shows I've ever seen, The Lost Boys on Broadway. Now, before I even start, I have to tell you something important. I love vampires. I love vampire movies, vampire stories, vampire castles, vampire costumes, vampire music, pretty much anything with vampires in it. So when I heard that The Lost Boys was coming to Broadway, I was super excited and couldn't wait to see it. And wow, this show did not disappoint. If you're a family looking for something exciting, funny, spooky, and packed with action, this is definitely a show you should think about seeing. One of the first things I noticed was how amazing the stage looked. The set made me feel like I had stepped into a mysterious world full of secrets. There were dark places, cool lighting effects, and moments where the stage seemed to transform right before my eyes. Sometimes it felt like I was inside a movie instead of watching a Broadway show. The lighting was especially incredible. There were glowing reds, eerie blues, and dramatic shadows that helped create a vampire atmosphere. Every scene seemed carefully designed to make the audience feel like something exciting could happen at any moment. And speaking of exciting, the special effects were awesome. I don't want to spoil too much, but there were moments that made the audience gasp. Some effects happened so quickly that I found myself wondering, how did they do that? There were scenes that looked magical, scary, and almost impossible to pull off on a stage. That's one of the things I loved most. Broadway shows can sometimes surprise you in ways that movies can't, because everything is happening right in front of you. The audience around me was reacting constantly. People were laughing, cheering, and sometimes jumping in their seats when unexpected things happened. Now let's talk about the vampires. Since I'm a huge vampire fan, I was really hoping the vampires would be cool. And they were! The costumes looked fantastic. The actors looked mysterious, stylish, dangerous, and sometimes even a little funny. The makeup and wardrobe helped create characters that felt larger than life. Some vampires look glamorous, some look scary, and some look like the kind of vampires you definitely want to stay away from after dark. The performers did a great job making each vampire feel unique. Another thing I loved was the music. The songs had lots of energy and helped keep the story moving. Some songs were exciting and powerful. Some were emotional. And some were just plain fun. Even after the show ended, I found myself thinking about certain melodies and musical moments. The orchestra sounded great, and the music helped create the show's atmosphere. Whenever something dramatic was about to happen, the music would build tension and make me lean forward in my seat. I think families will really enjoy the musical numbers because they're entertaining even if you've never seen The Lost Boys before. Now let's talk about the cast. The actors worked incredibly hard. There was lots of singing, dancing, acting, and physical movement throughout the show. Some scenes moved very fast and had a lot happening at once, but the performers handled everything really well. The chemistry between the characters felt believable, and I cared about what happened to them. That's important because even though there are vampires and special effects, the story still needs characters you can connect with, and I definitely connected with them. Another thing I appreciated was that the show wasn't just about scares. There was also friendship, there was family, there was adventure, there was humor. There were moments where the audience laughed out loud and moments where everyone became very quiet because something emotional was happening. That balance helped make the show feel complete. For families, I think that's one of the biggest strengths of The Lost Boys. It gives you a little bit of everything. You get action, you get comedy, you get music, you get suspense, and of course, you get vampires! Lots and lots of vampires. As someone who absolutely loves vampire stories, I was smiling through most of the show. I kept wondering what was going to happen next. Every time I thought I knew where the story was going, something surprising happened. That's always a good sign. It means the show kept me engaged from beginning to end. I also think this is a great show for families who want to experience something different from the usual Broadway musical. If you're looking for princesses or talking animals, this may not be the show for you. But if you're looking for excitement, adventure, mystery, fantastic visuals, and a little spooky fun, then The Lost Boys could be exactly what you're looking for. The audience seemed to have a great time. I certainly did. And when the final curtain came down, I didn't want it to end. That's usually how I know I've seen something special. So what's my final rating? As a huge vampire fan, I'm giving The Lost Boys a big thumbs up. The music was exciting, the effects were impressive, the cast was talented, the atmosphere was unforgettable, and most importantly, it was fun. If your family wants an entertaining night out filled with thrills, laughs, music, and some very cool vampires, I think this show is definitely worth checking out. Thanks for watching my review, and remember, stay away from mysterious vampires offering you a midnight ride on their motorcycles. Unless they're starring in a Broadway musical.